Everybody, it's your pal Drew. Time for some more random comics from my spinner rack. Justice League America really went against, when it came out in 1986 or 7, it really went against the grain of the grim and gritty stuff, whether it was Watchmen or Frank Miller's work, and just a lot of grim and gritty stuff came in its wake, and I don't think either of those two creators intended it to be that way, because later on both of them did semi-humorous stuff. So this is late in the run, and it's been for 5 years exactly, for 60 years, 6 years. Justice League was like more of a comedy. There wasn't really any action except for like the first 6 months, and then there was an issue where Lobo and Guy Gardner fought. That was pretty cool, but there was very little action, and I sort of dropped the book for that reason, because I read it, I had it for a few years when McGuire was still on, then Adam Hughes, and I looking back now, I can enjoy it just that every month. It's kind of routine with the wahaha stuff. So anyway, I just picked this up at the comic shop in the back issues. Of course, back issues, listen to me. Of course that's a back issue. Membership drive, great characters, El Diablo, Starman, Hawk and Dove with the new Dove that Carl and Barbara Kiesel had created. And it starts off, and what's great is this series, all the artists are excellent. They are excellent. This is Mike McCone, who was just starting out pretty much. Maybe I'm wrong, but he also did a couple of annuals or 80-page giants and such. And Keith Giffen plotted these. J.M. DeMatteis did the script. And what's kind of interesting, though, is Keith Giffen literally draws on this size paper to the layouts. That really looks like Keith Giffen. And man, look at all those windows. I've had to ink those before, and it's no picnic. Those windows, when you're inking them, the best thing, when I would wake up in the morning, I would start with the buildings, because it's kind of brainless work. It's like you just have to have a steady hand, and I don't really have to think how a face will be, because you mess up a line on a face and it becomes really obvious. So after I warm up on buildings, Benita, who is Fire, she goes with Blue Beetle to Mexico, or New Mexico, I can't remember which. That's a great angle. Look at that. Looking for me? And there's Starman. He originally had like a purple and yellow costume, which was kind of yike. But the book lasted for like almost 40 issues. So Guy Gardner wants Starman, that era Starman, there was like 5 or 6 of them, to join the Justice League. And he's like, you want me to join? And I got too much going on. And Guy Gardner hassles him. You're drafted. So anyway, they're in Mexico, and she's talking with El Diablo, because I've never been much of a team player. It seems too confining. Well, the league's not much of a team, in the usual sense. Blue Beetle's like, they've been sitting there chatting away in Spanish for half an hour now. How long does it take to answer a simple question? He goes, I took Spanish 5 times, but I passed, didn't I? So he's totally left out. And he's, sniveling about it. Not sniveling. He's just upset. Well, Ice and Huntress try to get them going. You want to join the league? Us? How about that? Wow. How about that? Man, unbelievable. So this goofy villain, he's like a space villain, but not quite. He's a little dippy. He's not the brightest guy. He goes, cloaking device activated, my lord. Orbit achieved. Excellent, P. Craig. Excellent. P. Craig as in P. Craig Russell. Because his former assistant was L. Ron, as in L. Ron Hubbard. So that's pretty funny. Well, one of those famous pages, man, I love these pages when I was starting out at DC, where You just do 1, 2, 3 panels, and then the rest will be photostated by production. And, well, love that angle. Wow. So, I mean, Kevin Maguire really established a really clean look with really good-looking faces. Very great faces. And so they got Adam Hughes when he was a newbie, and then Mike McCone, Mr. Miracle, just a great character. The only thing about Mr. Miracle is all of his stunts rely on him having a portable, like, explosive to free him. There's never really been, like, I mean, whether it was Kirby or whether it was anybody else, there's never been, like, showing you, like, him getting out of a straitjacket or something like that, you know. So, you know, that's my only frustration, but I love Mr. Miracle nonetheless. And, get in there, yeah. And it's some form of Orion and light ray with that mullet, long and glorious. I don't think this look lasted very long. It's a little over the top. The original costume, though, was super simple. It was like red and blue trunks on a red costume, and then a cool helmet. But it's one of those things where he had the Astroglider thingy, and it looked great. So that was almost like part of the costume. You would see him gliding, but you take it off, and his costume was pretty boring, except for the kick-ass helmet. So now we go to Moon Knight. Just like Micronauts, it went direct sales only, which was very rare. This is around 1980, 81. There's Bill Sienkiewicz doing a completely black cover, wisely, with the toothbrush splats. The background really sings. I like how there's a suggestion of light, because that's a building in the foreground. I had a subscription to this, actually. Because they're direct market only, and I couldn't make it down to Ide's comics all the time because I think maybe I would take the bus. I don't think I was driving at the time. So I just ordered in the mail. But let me tell you something what really sucked. A personal anecdote. So I ordered this. It was like get 3, get 1 free, and something like that. 2 and then 1 is free. Well, it came just in a paper, like a brown paper slip bag, nothing else. You know, it's like all damaged. And in the winter, it would get soaked. So it was kind of a ripoff at the time. I mean, years later, when they were still doing subscription, they boarded and bagged them. So this is Bill Sienkiewicz. He started off as a Neil Adams clone, like a lot of artists, and then he went on his own way, and it was pretty gradual, and I was really caught up in Moon Knight at the time. Doug Bench just wrote a great story, and little by little, Sienkiewicz was evolving before my eyes. Love that. He's inking himself here. He's also had Steve Mitchell inking him, who's pretty good, and he's also had others inking him. I can't think of who right now. So, beautiful stuff, beautiful. Now, his New Mutant stuff was neat, but towards the end, there was a lot of, I don't know. It was just a lot of drawings, and Chris Claremont would have to like write around it. How about that? Kudos to the colors. I can't remember who. I'll look real quick. But there's Morbius, who is her brother, Marlene. And what was great is they filled this book has no ads, and the back has an exclusive image for the next issue. This is not the cover for the next issue. So Butch Guice and Bill Sienkiewicz, they really they must have worked overtime. Doing a monthly book is tough enough, but doing instead of 22 pages, you're doing 30 pages. That's tricky. So a couple of years later comes one of my favorite miniseries that is yet to be reprinted. Come on, focus, focus, focus. Aquaman, with some newcomer called Craig Hamilton and Kurt Russell inking him there. That's great. Craig is he's a Jedi. He does great stuff. And Neil Ponsner, who wrote the series, he designed Aquaman's costume. And I always hated the orange and greens. And I know people just want to bonk me on the head for saying that. But this just made more sense to me. Because he could blend into the water. Man, that's great stuff. But I know Craig personally, and he's a really nice guy. Really nice guy. So much going on. Beautiful artwork. Craig is like from the school of P. Craig Russell, Sandy Plunkett, and a few others that are just do that beautifully ornate stuff. Well, anyway, great miniseries. Seek it out. The battle where all changes. You know what, though? Next time Aquaman showed up, he didn't have his monthly book except a couple issues in the 70s, and then prior to that, it was the 60s. He just wasn't sellable at the time. But this got me to buy it for the first time, and I love the costume. The story's great, but next time he showed up, like a year or two later, it was back to the orange and green costume. And from what I heard, they said with the swirl effect on his blue costume, it was extremely tough for artists to get it right. I totally understand that. Let me get a good shot of that. A better shot of it. Screw it. You got the gist. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. Magnus Robot Fighter. And Whitman / Dell Comics, they did really great work. Magnus Robot Fighter, he was revived in Valiant Comics in the early 90s, and that was really great stuff. I was enjoying the heck out of it. So this is 25 cents, so it must have been a mid-70s issue. And I think that's Russ Manning doing the art. I can't remember. That sounds right. So it's just beautiful, beautiful stuff. I was going to get the archives. They did the archives of Solar, made of the Atom, but they were all hardcovers. They cost like $50. You only get like 5 issues, and so Steve Rude said he was greatly influenced by Russ Manning, and you could see that right there. So, meet Dusty. Oh, it's a doll. Okay. Magnus doesn't have much of a personality, but the story is written in such a way that you're engrossed in it. So, excellent. Now, on to Astonishing Tales with Kazar and Dr. Doom. Came out around 1970, and at this point, the split books, they tried to revive them with Astonishing Tales, Amazing Adventures, and I think some other book. But it was past its time as far as Marvel was concerned. Kirby had left at the time, so they were kind of grabbing whoever they could. And they would get some new people, some classic artists, but they would kind of bang the artwork out, like George Tuska and Gene Colan, who I love. They kind of hacked it out. I don't want to say hacked it out. They kind of just banged it out, and because it had to be done. And there's Red Skull. This is a John Buscema cover. You don't see a lot of those. You get a better shot of that. But yeah, it's unmistakably John. And young Barry Smith, pre-Conan the Barbarian, he did this story. He also did stories in Tower of Shadows and stuff like that, but it was really just barbarian stuff, so it really didn't suit that book. It wasn't a scary thing. Long-time professional Frank Giacoia is inking, and it looks great. It looks really good because Barry Smith was still kind of... he was new. He was just trying to get... he just couldn't... his stuff was kind of sloppy. So he put somebody like Frank Giacoia on it. The faces will look better. Well, sort of. It's a little odd with the eyes. But... see, more Shrines from Marvel, double-sized reprints. Woo! Although I liked them as a kid because that was all, I had no reference to 60s stuff. So, let me go to Doctor Doom, the French Riviera. It's the scene, one of incredulity. So, this is kind of it's Larry Lieber as the writer. I'd like to read a long interview with him sometime. He's so, he's not really, other than the Atlas comics in the 70s where he was spearheading it, he's such a private person that there's so much I'd love to ask, but, hey, he wants his privacy, I covered this up because it has a, the symbol from Germany in the 1940s. And algorithms could be a stupid thing. Okay. Never finished high school. So he's attacking. The Red Skull took Doom's castle while he was away at the Riviera. And, it's just like you can tell Tuska is just getting it done. Just not very engaging. Because he was doing Iron Man at the time, so it was like extracurricular. I like that drop out there. I don't know if the anchor did that or not. Mike Esposito is the anchor. So this just really seems banged out. And those are those idiots, the exiles who fought Captain America, try to take on Doom, please. I mean, Captain America kicked their butt, so why would Doom not be able to? They were like groupies. They were like Red Skull groupies. Well, this gas, it can't be. Death would have been better, 1,000 times better. That's why you still live, reduced to the size of the vermin you are. I love when he comes on all strong and scoops him up, puts him in a rocket. Now, this is really cool. This is so not George Tuska style, but it's beautiful. Look at that cape whipping. It's just whipping back and forth from the wind. It just gives you a real strong ending to an otherwise mediocre issue. And that's about it. And if you have any comments below, if you've seen these books before and love them, let me know. If you don't like them, let me know. And if you want to seek them out, go to your local comic shop or eBay. A lot of neat stuff. Speaking of neat stuff, I'm gonna whore myself out of touch. This is a commission I did, and now that I think back on, I'd forgotten it was a single illustration of He-Man by Mark Texiera. Come on, let's focus, everybody. I used the bad skin I printed out. Here we go. That's not the greatest, but anyway, the client wanted me to add the walkway to the castle, and then I just chose to add that, and there's no stain. That's just a photocopy. And you can get, if you want to order one, get one at drewdracycomics@gmail.com. That's going to be my my official email if you want to get a commission. This is a cover recreation of the first Deadman appearance. It was I did this 11 by 17, and so was He-Man. This was just something I did for fun for a client. Love me some Iron Man. Love this one too. Shroud versus Stingray. I love those Z-list characters. There's another one, Captain Atom, 11 by 17. I have no. I do have sort of set prices, but I do negotiate. It depends on the degree of difficulty or whatnot. There's one of just me penciling and inking. A lot of fun. Yeah, if you want a commission or whatever, maybe a gift for a friend, a gift for a spouse. I'm really doing the hard sell here. Anyway, that's about it, and I hope you have a great day.